Hi, and welcome to the latest Firehouse Quick Chat video. I'm Peter Matthews, editor of Firehouse, and I appreciate you joining us today. I'm really excited to have Alan Jakobsen today from Agility Technologies. Alan's a long-term member of the fire service industry. We've seen him at trade shows over the years, and he's here to talk about a new search camera and this really great technology that firefighters and USAR teams could be using. So, Alan, thank you for joining us. And if you could tell us a little bit about yourself as well as Agility Technologies.
Sure. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate you setting this up. Look forward to it and look forward to connecting with your audience. So myself, like you say, I've been around a long time. I'm 55 years young, and I've spent the last 35 years in selling technology of one form or another. The last 23 years has been specifically in the safety and the fire technical rescue market. So quite good at bringing technology to solutions. And I enjoy it. And Agility, I had an opportunity to join them last year. They're good friends of mine. I've known them for decades. They've been in the rescue market for like 60 plus years, their development team. You know, they have just loads of information to bring to this. And so Agility was established in 2015. They basically came on the scene with the idea to take the latest technology and software and adapt it to problems that are taking place in the rescue market. So I think it's time to bring a little more technology into what these guys do. And the FirstLook360 is sort of the first product of many to come, solving problems in the rescue community. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm excited about it. It's a fun product to sell and to get the word out.
Well, and that's great. And I'm glad we have this opportunity to do that. And we'll have some examples of the videos today too, which really enhances that experience showing the technology that you have. So excited about that. So the FirstLook360 or the FL360, it's a rescue camera. Tell us what FL360 is being used for by the technical rescue and search community.
Yeah, so the FirstLook360 was originally developed for technical search teams. That's where rescue departments and fire departments all around the world consider cameras for use is to search for people's in structural collapses after hurricanes or man-made events. Okay. So we started there. We started with the identifying the technical search teams as our primary customers. So what we wanted to do was sort of take they're used to basically a camera on a pole hardwired to a video display. And it's been sort of like that since the mid-90s when it was invented, right? So it hasn't changed much, little improvements here and there. But what we saw out in the marketplace is this rise in these ultra-wide fisheye lenses that were available, the compression of wireless tools in technology, Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz, and the rise of the tablet, right? Okay. The video display that now everybody uses. So a lot of people are more technical savvy. So we thought, well, how do we combine this and change the way that the camera is presented? So what we came up with is this little camera here. So it's not very large. This is the self-contained unit. It's basically a wireless hub, if you will, okay, transmitting audio and video in 360 degree. So we do sell it on a pole with a mount that you can put the video display on, so they can use it exactly the way they're comfortable with, but we actually prefer that they use it separate. So because now the tablet is wireless. Okay. Right. So this new technology has allowed us to build a camera that is more robust. It survives the environment because there's no moving pieces in there. And technically, and we've seen this in training, it's actually faster to search a space, and it's also faster to search an area, and it's safer. And I'll go into a little more detail about that.
And that's because of the 360 view. You could see it all at once versus having to manipulate the camera a few inches at a time.
Yeah, that articulating head. And yeah, for all your search team guys out there, the rotating of the camera head from the clock position is gone, right? So okay, we've got plenty of videos on our YouTube channel that show how this is different. So I do have an example of what the camera looks like when we insert it into our search box, right? And it creates quite a view instantly. And this video is something that we took, and it was 3 or 4 seconds in length, maybe this one was a little longer, but all you need is 2 or 3 seconds and you get the entire space, right?
Okay.
So it's remarkable how you can zoom around on that. I love showing that to people because they just get blown away, right?
Yeah.
So the wireless flexibility, and this is something that in my previous life selling search cameras, everybody asked for that. And there's a valid reason for it, because it's very difficult sometimes to get both you, the pole, the camera into a tight space and then try and view the display. Mm-hmm. So we break that apart. So let me sort of paint a picture. So in the old ways, we're very used to one guy following the canine team, the dog alerts. They, let's think about a rubble pile, which anybody who's in USAR has played on, so they're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's had the chance to go out on an event, but a rubble pile is something that just about everybody's been on. So let's use that as an example. So you go out, your dog has alerted to either a mannequin or a live victim that's volunteered, right? So you go out to search it. So you've got your camera fixed on a pole to your display and you're walking around trying to put the camera into void spaces and look at the screen at the same time. It's quite precarious, and I've seen it many times. I've been on many rubble piles where people lose their footing. They literally sometimes fall down, they drop the camera. So we, with the wireless camera, with the FirstLook360, we now dedicate one person with the camera on the pole, and that person's primary responsibility is just to secure themselves on the rubble pile, make sure they don't fall, and they just put the camera into spaces. The other person with the tablet will sit or stand in a stationary position, close, but doesn't have to be right on top of them. Yeah. And they are aware of their surroundings, they stop moving, then they look at the display and they direct the person with the pole and the camera. And we have some great pictures and stuff that I can show on a live demonstration about how this works. But so now when they communicate, with the guy with the pole, they can direct them. We've seen it over and over again, how much quicker they actually locate the dummy or the poor volunteer stuck in a rubble pile. And it's quite remarkable. It really kind of clicked with me. And then now we're really heavily promoting this. So not every team is going to have the resources to have two-man teams, but if you do, please use it. If you don't, then we still can configure the FirstLook360 just like your traditional pole cameras.
Okay. And so, I mean, we're talking about technical rescue and USAR team applications right now, but as fire departments are really all hazard, teams at this point, they're called out for everything from flooding to, a cat in a tree to something that fell down the sewer. There was a story here the other day that somebody found $800 sitting in a sewer grate, and the police and fire department came, they got in and they pulled out the money. So really, again, departments are doing so much more than your traditional fire and rescue calls. So where else can we use the FirstLook360 in the fire service applications?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about the new design, and that's really what I was waiting for. A lot of rescue teams, they go out to Home Depot and they buy a little rigid camera, that's meant for inspection and try and use that in a rescue scenario. And they're okay for certain purposes, but they really lack a lot of the features that are designed specifically for the rescue market. So the FirstLook360, and I'll just hold this up where people can see it, is basically without that articulating camera head that every rescue camera has, even the little ones like the Mongoose and the Recon 3, they still take up a lot of space because you got to have room for the camera to move back and forth. The FL360, once you can get it into the environment, you can rely on either lens to see in there. And then your finger does the walking on the tablet. Okay. Right? So this doesn't move. Once you get into position, you just leave it there. And then your finger can move. You can go up and down and left and right and all. You can add light, you can add audio and video. So what this done is this has actually opened up the market for teams to put this on their regular rescue truck. So I'm talking about the rescue truck that has the cutting tools, the mechanical struts and things like that. They're a heavy rescue truck. They respond to like big rig accidents, which is a big thing going on with these huge trucks on the highways crashing. A lot of times they need to be able to see inside the sleeper to make sure that the wife wasn't along, that the family dog wasn't there to try and rescue them as well. So they're having a harder time getting inside these with their iPhones and these
Yes.
video cameras and stuff like that. So the FL360 does that. So we're kind of promoting it. We've made a smaller kit, so it's not this big pole, and all of this is smaller, and it's designed specifically to go on the rescue truck. And what drove this was actually, attending some trade shows and meeting the medical rescue crews out there.
Okay.
So the medic response guys have always kind of been, I don't want to say ignored, but the technology goes to the search team. But the medic guys are actually responsible for diagnosing the patient in this inaccessible location,
Yes.
a void space, or crushed in a vehicle or in an industrial accident. They don't have the tools to actually see the whole body or diagnose the blood flow and things of that nature. The FL360 or FirstLook360 really gives them that. It's just really the first time. So having said this, I have an example that Indianapolis Fire Department was kind enough to give us access to. And this is essentially an image of Indianapolis Fire Department rescuing a family dog who got its, chased after a gopher down a burrow, couldn't get out. So Indianapolis Fire Department, their rescue team, because they invested both in their FEMA team and in their day-to-day team, right? Yeah. The Indianapolis Fire Department had this on their rescue truck. So it wasn't locked away in a warehouse somewhere waiting for a big, massive event. So they were able to deploy the FirstLook360 successfully and save this family dog. And it's a pretty cool video in showing how they work together with the tablet and the probe, and they don't have to be connected to each other, it's just laying there on the dirt and they're moving their finger around. So we're pretty excited about this. I think as the camera gets deployed more and more on rescue trucks around the United States, or frankly the world, we'll see more examples hitting viral videos like this, of this camera being deployed in unusual ways that probably Agility here have never thought the product to be.
And that's why the firefighters are the ones that give you that experience, because those are they're encountering those unique scenarios day in and day out. So it's what an opportunity for them to really be able to extend their surge capability, which ultimately increases their rescue ability through having the camera. So that's great. And I just want to jump back real quick. So you mentioned the audio and the light on the camera. So if you're searching a void space, you now have that ability to communicate. So say that patient or the volunteer is down there. So you have the ability to do communications with them. Is that correct, through the FirstLook360?
It is, and it's actually quite critical. And we also have the ability to record the entire event with audio. So all of these things combined, basically, obviously, it's an ease for the victim that you can communicate with them. You can tell them that you're here, that you're working with them. You can try and lower their anxiety. You can ask them questions about their situation, pain, movement, those kinds of things, to make you decide how fast you have to respond. Think of a vehicle incident too. Being able to put it into the car and talk to them and communicate, and then lower it down to their feet and make sure you can see how they're trapped potentially if they say they can't move their feet, for instance.
Yeah.
So, but the recording ability as well, I mean, and the playback is instantaneous. A lot of the traditional cameras, they record and you have to take it out and put it into a computer and then play it back later. Well, this one is, you can play back right away. So, and there's a couple of different points in that. If you're in a miserable storm, you can send one guy out, short straw, goes out there, sticks the camera in a bunch of places, you record it, you come back undercover, and you review it. And you have 360 degrees each time they stick it into a void space, right? So it can take seconds, right, to actually get that recorded. And then you go back to ones that you didn't see everything or that had some interest. And then you can use it for training, right? So later on, you can debrief after an event. So you can go through what you did right, what you did wrong, and then you can use it for training people down the road. So we're really thrilled about that. And it's really part of this whole using the latest technology. So we went down the Android route with the tablets, and this has given us some powerful tools because, we developed this camera and put it to market. We developed it over 5 years and put it to market 3 years ago. There's things that we want to do after the fact that we didn't think about that customers bring to us. Because it's Android, we can just update the software and the firmware, put it on the Google Play Store. It's a free download, and all of our existing customers can just update to the latest features, forms, improvements, connection abilities. So we've done that multiple times
That's
over the
great.
last years.
That's what a great asset for them then too. So they don't have to worry about going down and downloading some software from some website and hoping their computer works with it. And because we know fire departments, they have very antiquated equipment when it comes to computers because they have to still use internet support. But we won't go there today. So.
Well, you know what? To be to their credit, we've been doing a lot of online training and online demonstrations, and they've really stepped up their game in their lunch rooms or viewing rooms and stuff like that. We're seeing they're starting to get into the Zoom wave, the Microsoft Teams, the Skype, and all of that. So to all their credit, they're really stepping up.
No, it's true, and so that's my next question, right? We're talking about everybody adapting to the use of technology, and this camera is very high tech. But now with COVID and the inability for your staff to get out the stations to show the FirstLook360 or them to come to you, trade shows, etc. How are you able to still meet with clients, potential clients or existing clients to demonstrate the FirstLook360 with everything going on?
Great question. Great question. And then our hearts and our prayers go out to all those who've been negatively affected by the pandemic. Certainly, we are very interested in protecting our staff, like me. I'm the guy who goes out there, but we just hope to be out there in 2021. So what we've decided to do is invest a bit in technology ourselves. So we've set up this video suite. You're seeing a little bit. I have a search box that I built dedicated to be able to show the ability of the camera both going in horizontally and vertically, because we can drop the camera up to 60 feet on a line vertically. So I want to be able to demonstrate these things so people are comfortable making a purchase without having to actually physically touch the product.
Okay.
And then every system that we deliver, we follow up. Not everybody takes us up on it, but we follow up with a detailed hour-long training session where I go through every item that's included in the kit, why it's there, what's the purpose for it, and how to maintain or use or answer any of their great questions. So they usually last an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And then I record the whole thing and send them a link, and they can download and they can review it anytime they want.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty powerful. So that's that's sort of what we've been able to do.
Well, it's great. And again, like you said, the technology of the cameras have changed, and people have adapted to that. Same thing with COVID, and you can still do your training even though you're in a different location. But honestly, that's a great opportunity for them to understand what technology is. Getting used to using the tablet versus something that's constructed right or built right into the camera. So that's great. So as we wrap up today, Alan, any last words? Any other information about the FirstLook360 that our viewers need to know?
Yeah, I think most of it is just sort of we're a young company, with old guys who know this market. However, getting the word out. So what keeps me up at night is that a team will go out there and just buy a legacy camera because that's all they know. So really do encourage teams to research, to go online, to find out all of the cameras, including the FirstLook360, go through their features because things have changed. Yep. And we certainly want them to have the best camera for the buck, right? Because money doesn't grow on trees. It's going to be terribly short, probably coming into 2021. Budgets affected negatively by the pandemic and forest fires and hurricane after hurricane coming into the Gulf Coast. I mean, this is some big stuff happened in 2020. It's a year to forget, I think. But so I think I'm just encouraging them to do their homework, and we're here to answer any questions. And like I say, we can set up a video demonstration. Okay. And I also wanted to thank our early adopters. Being a new company with new technology, some people really kind of, I wouldn't say stuck their neck out because it's pretty robust, it's a pretty strong system. But really, they went against the grain and tried something new. And really a big leap ahead of where everything was before. So I really thank them for that. And the word is starting to spread, and we're enjoying some great success because of the great people that we have to connect with. I mean, got to face it, I've enjoyed the last 23 years being in the rescue market. I just love this market. I love the people in it. And I like the environment.
It really is a great group of people. I've been involved with fire service for 21 years myself, and it's such a dedicated, passionate group. We're very fortunate to be able to work with those folks. So that's a great way to kind of wrap up. So if they do want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of Agility Technologies for more information on the FirstLook360?
Yeah, so we've been pretty good. Matt Fittis, one of the co-founders, has been excellent on social media. So if you do hashtag FirstLook360 in any Google browser, it'll come up with Twitter and with Facebook and with YouTube and with all of that. Certainly our website, which I'm not sure if you can post somewhere on the when you post this, this
yes,
video.
absolutely.
Agilitycorp.com. It links you to everything else. And then pick up the phone. I got lots of time. I'm stuck here in the office every day. Love to hear from you.
Great, Alan. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, this is Agility Technologies with the FirstLook360. Alan Jakobsen. Alan, I really appreciate you spending time talking with us today and really giving us a quick look at the FirstLook360. But like you mentioned too, there's plenty of videos on your website, on your YouTube. I encourage you to go and see what else the cameras can do beyond what we've talked about today. So, Alan, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and thanks to Firehouse as well. Appreciate it. Take care.